and welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild, and I am Debbie G. I'm so grateful to be here with you all. And today on Cuppa Grata, we have got an extraordinary co-squirt. Right now, I'm just sitting here and feeling so much gratitude for this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful creature. She is creative and humorous and glorious. She's got a spark. And there's something about her that just brings you back into your center. So I'm going to bring her on in a minute. This is going to be an hour of empowerment, and we're going to uncover and unleash some really yummy stuff. You're watching Cuppa Grata with a shot of expression and 2 squirts of reality. And this morning, my co-squirt is MiraMichelle. Welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild, Mira.
Thank you.
Actually, if I could play music, I'd have it played. You're welcome. So her bio is in our description of the show, but let me just give a couple of shout outs here. It's MiraMichelle is the founder of Sacred Female Rising Institute and the author of the upcoming book, Sacred-ize Your Life. The ancient art of ceremony meets contemporary age. That sounds super exciting. Mira's love for humanity and planet Earth have brought her to a profound place of advocacy for female kind. She feels that for humanity to truly establish peace, it is necessary to restore and bolster the innate worth and core values of the divine feminine. In the most basic form, the divine feminine is the life-giving force of creation, establishing a life balance between feminine and masculine values and perspectives holds a great power to reshape and heal our world. Wow. And she wrote that, by the way, just so y'all know. Straight up. Man, I am so honored you are here. Oh, it's glorious. It's glorious. And good morning to the audience. Good morning, Lisa. I see you. And if anybody has any questions during this time, please type them into the chat and share this out if you're enjoying the content. So MiraMichelle, all the way from Germany, we were just having a fun conversation about Germans and the fact that I come from the land of gigantors, which is beautiful. You are from the land of teacups. So this is good.
Actually, yes.
Yes, she's a teacup. We're gigantors.
Teacups.
My mom's a teacup. My mom, 5'4".
Mrs. Potts.
She's definitely Mrs. Potts. You are just. So her other sidekick is she's a stand-up comedian out there. I'm gonna bring you to Hollywood. You are something else. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna just be your agent because, like, dude, she rocks.
Oh, wow. I was there before. I did my 6 years in Hollywood, actually. So.
Did you really? Of course you did.
That was the past.
Look at you. I mean, what was your favorite thing about it?
Community. The community of actors and being in the actor studio and working on yourself as you worked on your craft and forging incredible relationships with other humans because you go so deep, method acting. You just go in there and we were all so fearless. We were all so courageous to dive deep into those inner child wounds and support each other and hold each other, and try not to beat ourselves up too much for being human and being wounded and vulnerable. So that was what I loved most about my 6 years in Hollywood as an actress. And
it's beautiful. I love that. And I love nitpicking the gratitude moments out. And because it just thrills me. Community. So that says a lot about who you are too, because where you sit right now, you're actually on Linner break. It's a new word that's been discovered in Germany.
Linner.
Oh, Linner. They're having Linner. Just so y'all know. she's running. She has an institute there where you are, and you are in session, so you're on break. And tell us a little bit about that real quick before, and then we'll jump into some other stuff after.
Okay. So, yes, you are correct, my dear sister. We are on dinner break, which is, lunch and dinner put together. And we went a bit longer in our scheduled process because sometimes one of the women go into process, which is what we actively support in the sacred circle. And resonance gets high, and old patterns start to break up inside. We feel super safe, and then let it flow. No one's ever sent out of the circle. We welcome it, and we just continue on. And if you're crying, maybe screaming, maybe kicking your legs, just be there with it. We're all there with it. We breathe deeply, and maybe if it's really intense, we'll just start singing and being in the moment, holding space. So that was that little microcosm. The bigger macrocosm is that it's a medicine woman training. And I was
Oh,
invited by spirit intelligence, whom I call the great mother, nature intelligence. And she asked me 3 times, along with my ancestors, if I would facilitate and organize a contemporary medicine woman training. So from ancient to contemporary. And at first I was like, no, thank you.
okay. So let me just get a grip on this.
No.
So you're sitting back there one day because I feel you on the yeah. You're going to do this, and I'm like, what and
Yeah,
how?
exactly. Yeah. How, when, why? Yeah.
What? Really? Okay, so I get that, and I get that feeling. Anybody out there watching, you ever had that calling come? And it's a calling that may not even it may not even resemble what it was that you thought that your life needed to be. And my guess is right now, because what I'm hearing is that you may have heard something that you didn't realize that that was your life, what your life was going to be.
Sort of. I knew I was in that form somewhat already, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been open to that since age 19 when I started energy medicine, what you call in German Ausbildung or internship with an amazing healer. So part of my life always ran on that. I'm so super
Yeah.
curious about everything. I'm like, wow, what does that mean? Let's look it up. Oh, I read this holy book. What is that? Let's look it up. So I'm a very curious nature, and I love to feel those vibrations of what we are past the form.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got to that specific place in my life, my children were younger. Now they're 15 and 19, but they were younger because this was 9 years ago. No, 8 years ago. It was 2012 actually when it came.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't actually think that I was going to put this vibration into form in that way because I was doing something similar but else. And I thought that would be really over my head. I thought that would
Mm-hmm.
be actually a lot of work. And I didn't know how. Like you said, I had the calling. And so I declined it, and it came again. And I declined again, and it came a third time. And I know from all my ancestor work and the spirit work I've done, it's like if your ancestors are really knocking on your door, you don't want to say no a third time. No.
Probably, probably not. No, it's just not a
No.
thing.
You're gonna get
Not,
sick. Something's gonna happen to you that's gonna help you make that decision. So I said
um,
yes, and I never made a better decision in my life, except for beyond having my children. That was the best decision I ever made. But this was
I gotta get you on that one. Mine are 28 and 32, and I have a 7-year-old granddaughter. Completely I love that. What I'm what I'm loving is that
essence.
it's empowerment just to talk about the fact that as you sit here and as I sit here, to be an example and to say out there to the world that's watching that you can do anything that your heart is led to do. And I mean, look, you're doing it and I'm doing it, and there's been millions of people who are actually stepping up and doing it right now. I personally feel that COVID has given us an opportunity to do this right here, to step forward with a bigger voice and to come out. And had we known your 2000 had back in 2012 what that meant, because we were being prepared for this time, for now, is my belief anyway. And I could be totally wrong, but that's what it feels like. So,
Follow the feeling. That's it. Follow the feeling. Yeah. I feel that is right on in many ways. All of that deep introspection and, again and again, breaking the form, recreating it, and seeing just how magnificent it is to be a human being, even when it sometimes doesn't feel that way. We're an amazing species. We are light.
yeah.
We are
And so
light.
follow the feeling. Don't follow the yellow brick road, guys. It's now been changed. It is follow the feeling. I mean, seriously,
Follow the feeling. Yeah,
right?
and if it is the yellow brick road, then do it. But
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, of course,
yeah.
absolutely. I mean, if you find one, it's Jesus, man. Would you please? I'll come help you. I'm after that wizard too. She's. I've been single for 5 years, for God's sakes. Come on now. But anyway, all right.
Hmm.
So when we first started talking, for those who are just jumping on, we're sort of. I want you to look at the overall picture. We were talking about she was in
Let's do that.
Hollywood. She was in Hollywood, and then she was. Now she's in a school. She's got this. She has an institute. She's in Germany, and you've heard the two big ends. So let's kind of fill that in, and let's look at what you're doing, and just kind of. I'm just going to let you have the stage and to start carrying us away.
Whoa, you didn't just do that. Love you, sister.
I did do
Oh,
that. I
you
did.
you 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 just did that. Okay, I can do that.
I'm magic.
Oh, look how you do that thing. We knew she was magic, didn't we? We all knew that. Our sister. So that wasn't actually the beginning. I feel that if I just click back for a couple minutes to age 19, where I officially began to meditate. And I did that because of what our sister and I might speak about in a moment. Was trauma. And my parents got divorced when I was 19. And that really threw me because my father's U.S. Air Force and my mother's English. So our little military family went a lot of places, but it was always the four of us. So when that ended, I was very lost and very
Mm,
confused and
mm.
hurt. And so I dropped out of university and I started working in a bank. Not a good option for me because I don't know if there's a more stressful thing to do than to deal with other people's money. But I did that. And very quickly I found out that I needed to go back to university. But in that time, I was so hurt in my heart that I developed pneumonia because that's a dysfunction you can when the pain, the trauma lays in the chest. And at one point, one of my coworkers came to me and said, "You're too stressed out to be so young. You
Oh,
need to go and visit my mother." And I go, "Who's your mother?" And she was this incredible healer, energy healer. And she gave meditation groups in her home. So I called her. I just thought maybe I should do that because I was sort of at my wits' end with myself. And it was another one of those great decisions. I call her my living angel. She absolutely saved my life. And I began to
oh wow.
meditate, and it
Wow.
changed something in me. And then it was like I had to go there every week. And then I did start university, and I had a hard time due to my self confidence had been quite wrecked, because I had completely lost my foundation.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
had a really hard time passing my math exams because I had sort of convinced myself that I wasn't good at math. And so I read in an article that if you meditate, that can really help you. And so those two parts combined, I began, and it was one of the most nurturing places I had ever sat in my life, besides, my own mother's or father's lap or something like that. It was so incredible. And I began to expand. When you're young and you're just open and you don't have all these sort of mind ideas of what you think you should be or who you think you should be, you're just raw.
Yes.
and I was really raw at that time, super
Yep.
raw, and it changed something. It began to give me a new foundation. I was still in a lot of pain and discomfort, but something else, and I could sense it, but I couldn't touch it, but I could sense that something else was there. And I went on, and before I knew it, I had been with her for 4 years,
Ah.
and she actually personally invited me to have an energy medicine training, like I think I mentioned it earlier, like
Mhm.
reading chakras, auras, and
Uh-huh.
I did it, and I did it like that, like straight away. And I think we all have this hardware. I could see in people's chakras what their boss's name was, and why they had a difficulty with their boss, and all of that, all of those details.
Mhm.
And when she offered me like a place in her center, I declined it because I thought, I think I was like 21 at that point, and I thought, I think I'm just a bit too young to have that much responsibility for other people, even though I have the skills and I can do it. It feels like too much. So I went on, and that's not too long after that. I did then move to Hollywood, and it's a great place because you're an actor, you're in the actor studio, and then you have a what they call a shrink. So I went 2 times a week to my shrink. I did because I was really into like inner child right
Oh,
now.
okay.
I
You're doing.
want I want liberation,
Huh, I was doing the whole inner child look through the window thing and with my shrink. I I'm not a Hollywood though. I'm from Diamond Bar,
I mean,
California, not Hollywood.
maybe some, I'm just thinking now, maybe some doctors of psychology don't appreciate the word shrink. And I do it with all due respect.
Sorry guys. We love you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we love you. Without you,
totally.
many of us would be like, just drooling, rolling around like.
Yeah.
So with my psychologist,
I
amazing
actually
woman.
do sometimes. We just don't tell anybody. Sorry, just
Can be
saying.
fun just to drool sometimes, can it?
Sometimes. I mean, geez, you ever tried it? No. Just no, just kind of let everything go.
Just
No,
let it
really
go.
don't.
Just let it.
Not seriously. I promise you. Well, I mean, if y'all want to, go ahead. I'm just not serious. What I'm
Can be
enjoying,
liberating. You never know.
I'm just sitting here just loving all of this because you said so many powerful things within your story already, you know, and one is understanding your own innate ability that all of us have within us. And I mean, now you're helping awaken that in others and in remembrance. But here you are at this young age, tapped in, tuned in, turned on, and rocking the energy. And that right there is, that to me is exciting. And because it's the pathway to showing others not how to do it, it's remembrance to do it. But
Right.
okay, all right. So you're in this space and you're working with your energy. She's invited you. You've said, you're not quite old enough. Then you went to Hollywood, and Hollywood, you loved Community, but then
Also.
something changed, right?
Something, yeah, something shifted. I wanted to add something of what you just shared.
Mhm.
It's the experience the wounded healer can give is so powerful. And it's also the resonance, because once you go through those portals of self-healing, the resonance, what I would say, blueprint you make is then transported in the session room because it's always there. It's been lived, right? And that's what I felt like. Oh, I could almost become emotional in that at that moment because I feel that resonance of that gift of resonance is
Yeah.
highly underrated in our society. That gift of frequency. I think Carolyn May said it once in one of her amazing discourses that
Hmm.
when we get to the place of really allowing ourselves to nourish and value the resonance as a gift, whoa, that's better than anything really material. I mean, I don't really like to do the better, best thing. However, for lack of a better description, yeah,
Well,
we can get down with that.
I love that. So I'm going to fill into the word resonance. Resonance to me feels like neutrality. Actually, you're right. It is neither good or bad, but it's preferable. It's preferable. And resonance is at one mint.
Mm.
Atonement, a one mint.
Mm-hmm.
Resonance is our highest form of appreciation. That God spark moment. Resonance. So if anybody out there is like, what is that? It is a vibration that we hold. It is where we
Mm-hmm.
can sit at. So those are the feelings that's what's coming up for me when you're saying that resonance. And I just felt like I wanted to expand on it because it's such a good preferred space to be. So
Yes, it is.
keep going, Missy.
Love
I
you.
I love you talking, so I can't wait to hear more.
Great. Well, then, towards the end of my stay, which I didn't know was going to be the end of my stay in
Mhm.
Los Angeles, I began to become disillusioned. I love to act. I love to be in the moment. That's what I really loved about acting, is it can take you really in the moment, and that all sort of fit well together with the healing work and the groups I was already running when I was in LA. But I didn't like the business part of it so much.
Okay. Okay.
And we don't need to go in that so deeply. We just have to think about the Me Too movement a little bit, and the realization of some aspects of that. And I began to write screenplays. And
Wow.
then something happened. Something happened in a week where I was my spiritual resonance was really growing high. I was meditating every day. I was running groups, doing different things like this. And my disillusionment with my now was expanding also, so when light expands, everything else expands too. And I started questioning the systems and questioning the authenticity and questioning the integrity, and just all this questioning was going on and on and on for a week. And at the end of the week, something really crazy happened. That's I'm just going to say it like it is, okay?
Mhm.
John F. Kennedy's son was killed in that plane crash, right?
Yeah.
And that tripped me out. It was really like everything that was going on in my process went bam, because I didn't realize at the time that what I felt about that other human, what I felt about our history, what I felt about John F. Kennedy and the hope he brought our country,
Yeah.
and that all sort of interlinked. And I almost died in a car accident
Okay.
that day, the day after. So
Oh
yeah,
goodness. Oh.
it
I
it
I
was
oh, tell
it
me.
was
That's a
really
traumatic.
really
Yeah.
intense, but nothing happened. I was this close. It was very mystical. It was the
Okay.
universe showing me, and this was right when I was getting sort of being guided to my shaman path. And
Uh-huh.
with shamans, you can get intense experiences sometimes. And it was right as I was getting out of my car, I was on Melrose, and it was sort of busy. My girlfriend had already gotten out. I parked on that side, on the right side. And of course it would be on the right side. But anyways, and then I went to open my door, and it was open like so much. And then something stuck me there on my seat. And I went, why am I just sitting here? That's so weird. I'm just sitting here. Like I recognized that I wasn't moving. I recognized that something had me in my seat. And right when I finished the second sentence, it was like, pow. And a truck had come really quick, very fast, a big van, and hit my car, hit the door, even though it wasn't only open that much, because I was literally holding it, thinking, why am I just sitting here? And then bam, there was this big collision. All the glass in my window went on me. His window, he had blood all over him, the
Oh,
passenger. But
uh,
me, there was nothing. It was like I was in a bubble. People ran out of their shops. My girlfriend went down on her knees and started crying immediately because she thought I had been hit or I had lost my leg, or she was terrified to come to the other
oh.
side and see me.
Hmm.
And she came. Finally, I got out of the car. Everyone ran over and sat me in a seat. And I was just like this.
Ooh.
And I realized that something had kept me in my seat, something that knew that van was coming. And if I had gotten out at that time, I wouldn't be there anymore. And as we can you feel the energy shifting right now? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And the strangest thing was I had a rip in I had a long gap skirt on, like a khaki one.
Hmm.
And there was a rip from like, my bum
Hmm.
all the way down the back of my skirt to my feet. I had never left the seat. The skirt was fine before then. There was no rip in it. And I realized as I was sitting in that chair the store owner had brought out, I went, "What's that? Why is it cold?" And I realized I had this enormous rip in my skirt,
Huh.
right? And I never left
Uh-huh.
the seat, and that collision happened. So that was like a very clear.
That is a. Have you, okay, so if you went into the quantum with this, I mean, I don't want to go off into woo-woo land, guys,
The
but I'm,
quantum's the quantum. We can split an atom. I
but,
mean, we just talk
but,
about the quantum. Yeah.
okay, so here's what I've seen. What I'm seeing is like literally, so I see sometimes like deja vu is in my world. I think deja vu is just an alignment of quantum verses going on, and it just sort of aligns in, like gets back into where it's supposed to be. It aligns. I don't know if I explained that right. So sometimes I think it's just like two versions of a reality merging is basically what I think I'm trying to say. Two versions of reality, and I know that that's going way off into another conversation, and I don't want to get off
We
into
won't
that.
go too
But
far off, but it's a
but
lot
what
to
do you
do
think about
with
that?
quantum and dimensions,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go so far into the multiverse, right? But just read a good book like The Holographic Universe or The Cosmic Holograph, which is from Jude Caravan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Holographic Universe is from Michael Talbot, and just or any of the greats, but it's very thick in science. You have to be used to sort of reading that impacted scientific wordology. However, there are definitely ways to explain. And for me, how I explain something like that, with all the mystical experiences we human beings have and have had through the ages, is we get it on a feeling vibration. I call it the feeling knowing, the feeling knowing.
The feeling knowing. Who can type?
Yes.
Can someone type that in the chat for me? The feeling knowing. The
Yeah.
feeling knowing. I want to thank T-Bird for saying resounding space of peace for resonating. Thank you. Thank you. For resonance.
Yes.
So if
That's
somebody could
that.
type that in the chat, and I want to agree with you. So but please. So you have this rip in your skirt, and you have this big. I mean, she's not trying to do Marilyn Monroe's gig here. All right, even though,
Right.
yeah, no, she's not trying to do any of that. Her skirt
Wasn't
doesn't need
trying
to
to
go
do
up.
that.
No, but I can't even. You're sitting there. I've been in a head-on collision. I know like when you're in a car. Anybody out there ever been in a car accident of any kind? It's your whole being is just kind
It's
of,
shocking. It's shocking. Yeah.
yeah. So when you sat there, how it was your? I'm guessing your end was okie dokie. That was in the car. You had some ouch. The one that was bleeding.
Oh yeah, they went around the corner. They drove around, and they went straight to the hospital then. And I guess he had some glass in his face from the impact. My car was like the door was shoved into, of course, the front body of the car, so it needed to go to the shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I went home, and actually an interesting. Since we started down the rabbit hole, we might as well just go a bit bit further. Why not?
Whee! Let's
Woo!
go. Ooh.
There may
Bye-bye.
be some other points, other topics that we'd like to draw into that. But when I was sitting there, my girlfriend was gone from. I was alone for a moment, and a man came up to me out of the blue. He was a blonde man. He was in like a police outfit, and he just put his hand on my shoulder. Very, very lovely guy. And he put his hand on my shoulder, like boom, and then he leaned forward and he goes, "You don't know how lucky you are." And he goes, he said something else, and then he said, "Just take good care." And I went, "Okay, thank you, officer. I will. Thank you." And he goes, "Yes." And he turned around and left. And I had like this shivers. I had like the feeling like, what was, okay, The energy was like that. So I thought, okay. And then the store owner came out, and then 2 police officers walked up, more. I don't know what. And they said, "Okay, we need to take a report, da, da, da." And I go, "Yeah, well, why didn't the other police officer just take a report?" And they go, "What police officer?" And I go, "Well, this man who just came here." And I described him to them. And he goes, "Oh, no, we haven't used those uniforms for a couple of years. This is our beat here."
Uh-huh.
And I was like,
Ooh.
uh-huh. And I went, ooh. And the first thing that came to me was walk in.
Wow. Wow. Oh, the our audience is going nuts. I'm just like, ah! Ooh, the energy's so
like,
high right now. Jeez. Ooh, it's like those gratitude tears come, like you're just like, ah. Whew.
I got down when I got home. I was down on my knees. I have my angel. That's it. I have my head to the earth in gratitude.
Yeah.
I said, "Thank you so much for keeping me here. There's something I need to do."
Oh.
It was all who I've never felt, and since this time, it totally shifted my frame of reference about that we're not alone, that we're guided, we're supported, and right now they really want us to remember that we're not alone. And then I had a very clear decision what I needed to do then in my life, and that was I needed to leave Los Angeles. I needed to, even though I loved and I still love acting, I knew that my soul then needed a different experience. My soul was guiding me to do the work that I'm doing now. And so I did it. I left, and my first stop was to go and visit my English grandmother, my grandmother Mary in England. She's the one that first took me into the nature and would say, "Nature is my church." And
somebody want to type that in the chat too? Nature is my church. Yeah. I agree with this. So I want to.
Yeah, that's what brought me here.
Woo!
That's why I'm here speaking with you.
Love this. I'm loving this. I want to just thank the audience. They're just, this is beautiful. Look at this. Great. This is great.
I like that. Wake up moments to shift your
Thank you. Blessings. Thank you. Melanie, thank you so much. So, and there was actually a question here, and it says, Melanie says, since time is not linear, is it possible that we save ourselves? Interesting.
Yes, it is interesting. Yeah, I mean, our higher selves are basically like our angels too, right? So if you can imagine how incredibly expanded we are, there has been times that I've left my body almost completely and then looked back at my body and said, "How the heck do I get back into that little thing?" Compared to, how expanded we actually are. So we're working on many different timelines simultaneously.
And I love that
Mhm.
because there's meditations that, and anybody can do it, where if you make the intention to connect with the highest version of you that you want to connect with, and that's what you connect with.
That's it.
And that energy is
And
what.
mhm.
Mhm.
And please remember this, that there's a process that goes along with that. And I think that sometimes people forget that. So
Okay.
this is a really shout out to everyone. Please reach for that expanded version of yourself in steps. Because as we expand, and we are right now on the planet greatly, because we are in the great awakening at the moment, and all this is part of allowing us to expand, is that density in which we carry maybe the conditioning, the childhood wounds, past lives, ancestor stuff, is waiting also to be clear. So as you expand, you can go a bit more easily, or sometimes a lot more easily, into those reservoirs of pain or suffering or what have you, and direct it into another focus point, another perception of viewing that past program, right? So
Yes.
expansion also means get to work, because if you just expand and you're not taking care of that density inside, then you start to get into sort of a polarity situation.
I completely agree with that 150% because um, past trauma. I say without your dark, you wouldn't know your. Let me bring this up. Without your dark, you wouldn't know your spark because
Mm-hmm.
I have had the glorious opportunity to experience all types of glorious what we term as trauma, what we term as PTSDs, and all of those things. And I'm still working stuff through, and I love this healing generational wounds. In fact, we can even talk about that. I know we've talked about it. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about a lot of stuff, but I feel like that talking about wounding is really important right now, especially if we're talking about expansion, just like you said, because what happens is I was a train wreck then if because I wasn't dealing with it is the point. That's what I was
Mm-hmm.
trying. Without your dark, you wouldn't know your spark, and I'm expanding, but I'm not coping with certain, PT, some of the trauma, and yeah, I would just be a train wreck, and then I would crash and train, and wreck, and everything else, and clean up the wreckage and clean it all up. And I'm still cleaning stuff up
We
always.
all
I don't
will
think
to the
is it. I don't
to
think it ends.
no, no, no. And it's, I think we need to get out of that idea that it ends. It becomes softer. Yeah, we are able to work with the resonances, that they don't totally throw us out of our consciousness, that we cannot calm down our reactions in the moment. So we go from compulsion reactions into being able to track what's going on through our feeling, through our sensitivity, and then directing, redirect. Okay, so usually I focus on this when this happens. Right now, I'm gonna take all my will and power with inner work and exercises and meditation and other parts. Healing happens actually in the micro moment. That's when the healing happens. And then we have enough, let us say, resource within us in that present moment to redirect right then and there. This is what I choose. I've been down there, I'm choosing here. And actually, so it's a shift in focus. Our focus is so powerful when we choose to focus on it. Maybe the first 5 or 10 times we don't feel that it really works because the feeling is not following the focus, but the
Mhm.
feeling will follow the focus.
Mhm.
Will.
Mhm.
It absolutely will if you commit to it. And on the sixth or seventh or eighth time, you will start feeling that resonance in the body. You will see that it's working. So, yes, we're all wounded. We all have some level of trauma. If we live in a society or sensitivity being incredibly suppressed right now since 40 years. I've never seen anything like it. So if you're watching one horror movie a month or two violent TV shows a week, you are getting pounded. Your sensitivity is getting pounded.
Oh,
right? We're not built to see people be dismembered and heads chopped off and cut up and all of this stuff. We are not built to see that. So what
oh,
happens
we're
is
not.
we develop an unconscious wall,
Mm-hmm.
and it not only does it work for out there, it works for in here.
To
So
desensitize.
yeah, we get desensitized. It's like mass desensitization in our society. 500 channels don't ever stop. It's like crazy. It's crazy.
Well,
So
well, don't
yes,
you believe that it's so true? I believe that, I mean, everything that we feed ourselves through our eyes, for through anything, through our ears, our eyes, our touch, anything, guys, it's going into
everything.
everything's coming in and
Mhm.
digesting everything. It's like when I eat something I know I'm not supposed to eat. If you put something in, and no matter where you put it in from, you might it might not have, it's not going to give the result that you're looking for. But what I love the
Right.
most about everything that you just said was about showing us all that there's options, there's
Yes.
choices. And the
Yes.
key thing about what you said is that it's perspective shift, the shift of perspective. When all of a sudden what you see is no longer what you see, you can't know something till you know it, and you can't see
Yeah.
it till you see it, because there's no point of reference. And
Right.
that's the beauty in this, is when we start learning, and that microsecond is that micro moment of shift of perspective, and you're like, oh, and what it's just,
Yes.
it's another know this other knowingness of like I know that I knew that,
Yes, and then it
and
goes in. You see, it starts to
yeah.
become embodied. Because healing happens really. We heal from up, and we heal from
Mhm.
down up. So up, down, and down up. This is what we're doing. This is how we're healing. And so we get the concept. If we bring it down, we bring it down. We start feeling. We begin to feel that that is a concept, and it is related to us. We go into the heart chakra. Our breathing begins to change. We say, okay, ooh, I feel that makes sense. That makes sense. And then somehow a lot of us, we stop here. We stop here. So
I've been
we're
guilty of
feeling
that.
it. We're feeling it. We understand it. We're feeling it, but we still can't change our behavior. When the trigger triggers, then boom, still goes. So a lot of people go, oh, I can't do it. They get discouraged, and then it doesn't work. It's not for me. But I tell you something, you keep going and you get down into the power chakra. When you're in your power chakra, that's when your body will start to shake. That's when you need to lay on the floor and allow a facilitator to hold you, and your body needs to shake. You might need to vomit because a lot's being held in that power chakra. We have it a lot, but you still keep going, because you need to go all the way down to the second into the root. And when you are down in that root chakra, that's when the big fundamental changes are made. So don't stop at the heart. Keep going down. Let that body shake. You can already feel, like, vibrationally, if you're plugged in, you can already begin to feel something in your mouth, something in your heart, just by talking about it, because this is my main work, is this work. And so it's very resonant work, what I'm doing out there on the planet. And then you probably can begin, all of you that are watching, who may watch this, you can feel something in the heart a bit. You can feel something in your field getting embodied. We bring it all the way down, all the way in, all the way in. Keep going. I'm just doing this. We're just doing this together. So I can actually spit right now, because I'm a bit of a spitting shaman. When it gets real, I spit a bit. It's medicine. And all the way down into the root. Now that root chakra is for most of us, very uncomfortable place to sit in the root, because it brings up all the existential stuff, you know. But for real
Mm.
healing and spiritual embodiment, we need, yeah, my field is super. Yeah, we're hot right now. We're in the embodiment right now, my darlings.
So just keep in the root,
Keep going, yeah.
keep breathing
Keep
with her.
breathing, yeah. Now I feel this. I'm feeling this tightness. So some of you are probably reading your field right now. I'm feeling this slight tightness right under the third chakra, connected to the second. We're just breathing through that. This is where most of humanity is holding, actually. And this is what we're suppressing. And I could cry. If I was in session, I might start crying with you. We're just going to do one more breath. Keep it. Keep it. Breathe. Keep it. Hold it out. Keep breath out. And bring it in. And if we just hold our hands up, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to spit. So I'm going to spit on the floor now. Go. We just say deep gratitude we have in this moment for all of what we are, for all of what we've experienced. We are the future ancestor to millions. And we are the wise ones that they will call upon in their dreams and in their prayers, and we will go to them and be of assistance in their life walk. And if I say that as we're coming through, I just want to give a shout out to all of our ancestors, from all of our nations, from all of our clans, our people. That's where the original coded wisdom was born. And we all have it in ourselves. We have this deep, intrinsic, profound connection to this earth. And we need it, like it's like bread and butter, dear ones. water and bread, as you say in Europe. So, just want to say that's one of the grandmothers I work with. And when it gets resonant, she pops in sometimes and says hello. Yeah, it was like giving birth. Yeah, we just went through to opening from the power chakra down to the root, opening that part. Many of you watching, myself, it's always good to reopen that and get deep in there, because that's the place that gets tight. And when that place is tight, I don't think I need to answer that. We all know that for our own life experience. When it gets tight, it gets difficult for us to move, to trust, to manifest. So right now, humanity's deeply working on this place, because the fear out there is intense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The judgments and the ridicules and the stuff and the. This is about perspective shift. When we go from judgment to curiosity, and anything that we judge is actually something within us. And I always look at it as a beautiful opportunity to see what's coming up for myself. So remember to bring it back to self. Wow. My back went out. I was bathing my dog, and I want to say that, but I've noticed my lower back has been a pickle. Now, I did fracture my back when I was 16. So, but still, I don't really have back issues. And lately, it's been interesting that manifested in my body. And then, but I stop and I don't just kind of go, oh, I shouldn't do this or that. There's a deeper meaning within every physical manifestation that you see within you. So if you've got something going on, look up what the spiritual meaning is, Google it. Or because there's an answer out there that's deeper, and be willing to look at yourself with curiosity to see how maybe you can shift it. But the thing that you're talking about, the fear, it sits in there. And the power chakra is also known as the power center is our sacral chakra. If anybody's curious what that power, because we all have different terms for the power centers. So the reason that I love this, and this is all, we're going to get into the Goddess Fest here in a second, is because it's about the divine feminine and the sacral The sacral is for men too. This is your passion center. This is your creativity, your imagination. This is where you unleash it from. Your sexual divinity is your power. And this is why I'm so excited to be part of the G Fest that's going to be this weekend. It's an example of what's coming in January. And this gorgeous, divine human here, being, I don't even, you're just magical. MiraMichelle is going to be presenting. Are you doing a workshop at the one in January? Oh, heck. Oh, wow. Okay. See, I'm behind the scenes. I'm producing these. So I'm going to get all of you.
You're
So,
gonna get all the goodies, the yum yums.
oh, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. I'm just like, yum.
Love
Ah.
you. You're so awesome, darling.
Thank you. I love that you feel that way.
Mm.
Okay. So, talk to us a little bit about what you're going to be presenting on is this Saturday with the G Fest. Is it this Saturday, or are you going to be on the BIPOC on Sunday?
I'm gonna be in the BIPOC on Sunday.
Okay, you're going to be in the BIPOC.
Wonderful panel. Wonderful panel.
Oh, yeah.
Ancestors, sacred activism, and more.
Wow. Super exciting. Okay, I'm going to put the website up. This is free this weekend. Everybody
It is
who's
free.
And we have a limit of 500.
Yeah.
So, and we're getting close to hitting that. So you guys, if you want to go, it's free. gfest.com, which is in the chat right now. Or no, that's not it. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I blew it. It's not gfest.com. I'll tell you while I prepare what I need to, what I'd love to do while I'm going to show you guys all about the G-Fest, I promise. MiraMichelle, you have a great website, which I've had floating across the bottom here. And you have a couple of them, actually. You have offerings and other things. So I'd like you to talk about how people can get a hold of you, work with you, and get more of your delicious teachings and just energy. Because, dear golly, I could just be around you all the time. Jeez, wow.
I love being around women. I love all humans. I'm a human person. I appreciate the my fellow humans, all of you, and all of us, because we have experienced so much. Yeah, and we're on the way. So this is my compassion place for my fellow humans. And yes, I'm doing what I'm doing here in Europe. Before this had traveled a lot, and now I'm more chilled out in this area. So I'm doing a lot of Zoom and Skype sessions. You can also have a look for sacredfemalerising.com. This is MiraMichelle, my personal website. And Sacred Female Rising has a lot of other offers, and you can see the community there of women. So one couple of things I'm excited about right now is that I am presently in the process of producing a 5-part series called The Great Awakening. This is partially channeled and spirit supported work, and also from all of my education through my life. This is really being supported by spirit, and they're going, let's get it going. It's going to be for free. And after being out for like 3-4 weeks, then we'll charge by donation or something. But spirit really wants this information to come out, that we can resonate together. And let us just say that we look at the current times, and then we weave in the broader perspective of what could quite possibly the meaning be, and then we feel it in the moment. So that's the Great Awakening. And next year for this wonderful G-Fest, I'll be doing something with the wild wisdom of the medicine woman returns. And why that's significant now, who has she been since antiquity, and a bunch of little goodies, some of which are not yet known. So some new finds, anthropological finds, will be announced. And myself and my sisters will be there this weekend, as our sister has told us here.
Yes, it's going to
yes.
it is going to be so exciting. And here we
Mhm.
have, I'm going to play for everybody.
Oh,
A,
yeah, nice.
Got to
here,
have faith and love and synchronicity. We got
there.
to breathe in love and exhale all the greed. We've got to stand in light, ignite the dark. We've got to fight for love, illuminate our hearts. Love, 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 love. In unity, we are free to return to the mother, take care of one another. Not violent, no, we won't be silenced. Give and receive, stop and breathe. So I stop and breathe, I stop and breathe, stop and breathe, stop. So I stop and breathe, I stop and breathe, stop and breathe, stop.
gfest.life, everybody, gfest.life. And that is where that you can go get your free ticket and join us in the Zoom. After all of the festivities are done, we will be having a fun after party called the Honey Hive. And
Oh,
it
is
is
that
going,
with Summer?
yes, it is with
Yes, sisters. Yeah.
we love Summer. We love Summer. We love
Yes.
the site. We love the Sign Network, sign.network. If anybody hasn't checked that out, we love being a member of Sign. And that is all for
Yes.
today. That is it for today. But I would love to have you back actually we really talked about a lot of stuff today. And let me
We
just check
did.
any questions. Let me just check really quick. Awesome. Stop and breathe. Yep. gfest.life. Thank you, T-Bird. You rock. Thank you very much. Please.
Thank you.
I know her
Triple
necklace is.
Goddess, yes.
I'm gonna. I like that.
Uma K and Uma K Jewelry from a longtime sister of mine. This is her line, and I
Beautiful.
love it. Keep it with me. You know that
Yes.
the sacred feminine is rising in all of us. We are the living empowerment, and our perspective, our life giving perspective, can heal this world. So
Yeah.
let us, as women, really focus on valuing that ourselves and how wonderful and magnificent it is, and how grounding, and also allowing that primal female to be what she is. This is one thing you said, Debbie, at the beginning. You know, when you first introed, for me, that was allowing that part of the female that actually sometimes gets sidelined because we have to be nice and we have to be da 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 da. No, we are just. I mean, yes, sometimes if you want it, but just be ourselves, be in that authentic vibration and resonate there, like my sister Debbie and I have had today. So thank you so much.
I have had such an incredible time with you today. It's been amazing, and I was just looking for more questions to see if there's anything else right before we go, just in case that. So
You've got 1 minute.
you've got 1 minute. We literally are down to the last minute. 13 is the number for the divine feminine. Absolutely. Is it? I didn't actually. I always said that. Is it
Also, 8 also.
8? 8. I knew 8, but 13. I
Mhm.
say absolutely before I even it hits my brain. So I have to
Which
tell. All right, I got it. Can I?
yeah,
My grandmother
go.
was born on September 13th, which was Friday the 13th, actually. So I was brought up with the fact that Friday the 13th is not only a good luck day, but the number 13 is our rock star number. So just to put a different perspective on it, it's all how you want to see it, baby
Oh
girls.
yeah, it's
I love you
always been like that for us women.
because we rock like that. That's
We
why.
rock like that.
I tell you what. All right, guys. Peace. We'll see you this weekend at the G Fest. And I love you. Bye, everybody. Have a day full of positive momentum and
Bless
gratitude
you.
moments. Remember, who are you grateful for?